Alright, today we're going to cover 8 concepts along the idea of figurative language. Figurative language is found in both poetry and regular stories, so we need to understand this so we can interpret what we see. So first of all, we need the definition of figurative language. Figurative language is a form of language use in which writers convey something, so explain or reveal, convey something other than the literal meaning of words. So they use, so it requires you to read between the lines essentially to understand what's going on. But we're going to look at a few of them today so that you'll be able to do so. There were going to be 7 in total that we're looking at today. We got hyperbole. We have onomatopoeia. Personification, metaphor, simile, symbolism, and understatement. Sorry, I ran out of room there. Alright, so let's get started. First of all, we have hyperbole. It's a figure of speech involving exaggeration. So you're exaggerating for effect. For an example, I have this, and it's a translated quote from a poem. I love you more than all of the riches this world holds. So they're using exaggeration to explain how much they love somebody. Alright, moving on, we have onomatopoeia. The use of words to imitate the sounds they describe. So my nice example over here on the side is, you see boom. Well, just by looking at that word boom, you know exactly what it is, and you can create the sound boom, something along those lines, and that helps imitate, that helps describe what the word means. Well, what is a boom? Well, it's a big boom. It's like an explosion, I guess. All right. Next up, we have good old personification. Giving human-like attributes to non-human objects or beings is more like it. So a good example here is the personification of Snoopy. Snoopy is a dog, but the way he's described, he's personified. He acts like a human sometimes. So it's just giving anything human-like traits, whether it's emotions that these type of creatures or inanimate objects never experience, or whether it's making them talk, or any of those kind of things. Very simple stuff. We'll look over this again in class. Next up, we have metaphor. It's a comparison between two unlike objects without using like, or as. So these two words are not used. So you're comparing two objects you normally don't compare in order to create some type of effect or explain what something is. For example, we got a good quote from House. I'm a night owl. Wilson's an early bird. We're different species. So as you notice, he's comparing himself to a night owl. He's comparing Wilson to an early bird. That helps you understand what kind of people they are. He's a night owl, so that means he likes being around at night. Wilson is an early bird. He likes being up in the morning. So it's just used to explain something. Comparatively, we have a simile. A simile is similar. It involves a comparison of two unlike objects. The only difference is this time we use using like or as. So my love is like a red, red rose. So Shakespeare over here is describing what his love is. And it helps you understand. You use this a lot when you're trying to figure out context clues to understand what a word means. You look for the simile or metaphor that they use within the sentence. Now this is used to convey, it's a figure of speech, to convey thoughts of explaining what something is or how deep they feel something. It's usually involved with emotions when you are dealing with poetry. Alright, moving on. We have symbol or symbolism, where an object or action in a literary work means more than literal translation or literal definition. We'll put it that way. It means more than a literal definition. It stands for something beyond itself. So I have a terrible, terrible drawing of two roads here. One that's clearly traveled all the time and one that's not at all. And we have over here a bunch of trees and stuff denoting that nobody goes down this road. So it's off of a poem called The Road Less Traveled. The road is a symbol for a man's life. So most everybody goes down the easy road because everybody knows it. But some people choose to go down this kind of road because it's off the beaten path. It's something new, different from everybody else. Next up we have understatement. It's a figure of speech. It's very similar to, it's actually opposite of hyperbole. So a figure of speech in which a writer says less than what he or she means. So it's under exaggeration. Boy, I gotta say that right. Under exaggeration. There we go. So where hyperbole is over, this is under. For example, here we got our guy here. It's been cut up pretty badly. Tis just a flesh wound. No, buddy, I think it's something worse than that. Okay, so today we've gone over what figurative language means. And we've gone over 7 types of figurative language, including hyperbole, that's an important one, metaphor, simile, personification, understatement, symbolism, and onomatopoeia. And be sure you're spelling that right. Spell it exactly like I show you. ONOMATOPOEIA. Or in order to get full credit on tomorrow's quiz. So the most important ones that we're going to look at specifically in our poetry is going to be hyperbole, metaphor, simile, and symbolism. Those are the 4 top ones. The other ones are needed elsewhere, but not so much. We're going to use this tomorrow to interpret Shakespeare's sonnets as well as a quiz, so hope you're prepared.